It's that time of year again, the time where people tell me it's not the time to make this sort of video, and the time where I really don't care. Verstappen and Red Bull are running away with the title in 2023. You could argue that Perez is in the fight too, but any fan with half a brain cell can tell that's never gonna happen. Then again, amongst Formula 1 fans, having half a brain cell is quite a high threshold. While those people leave to Google what threshold means, it's time for us intellectuals to look on the other end of the spectrum. Which drivers, after 5 rounds of the 2023 season, are under the most pressure to keep their respective drives for 2024? Hey there guys, I'm Will, welcome to FP1, and let's dive into this. Before we do though, this week celebrates 2 very important things: my birthday on Sunday and the release of the latest installment of the Isle of Man TT Ride on the Edge series, which should, if I can edit fast enough, come out tomorrow on the 11th of May. For the first time, the game will be fully open world, allowing you to explore the Isle of Man to your heart's content. The game's out on Xbox, PlayStation, PC and Nintendo Switch, so if that sounds interesting, be sure to check out my gameplay of it on the channel and head over to the link in the description to get it for yourself. Now onto the video. So I think we've got to start this by going for the low-hanging fruit, and by that I mean the AlphaTauri drivers, since they're so small they couldn't reach said fruit anyway. Though Tsunoda has picked up a couple of top 10s so far this season, it sure feels like one of the worst starts the AlphaTauri outfit has had in a while. Bear in mind, this is the same team who employed Brendan Hartley for a time. It's not all necessarily the driver's fault either. Outgoing head Franz Tost has been slightly critical of the engineers, it must be said. But Yuki Tsunoda is in his 3rd year with the team now, and looks less and less likely to be a candidate for Red Bull with every day that passes. Nyck de Vries, meanwhile, has just been Nyck de Vries. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the sole purpose of this team is to nurture Max Verstappen slaves, and there are far more exciting prospects for that role trundling around in F2 or Super Formula right now. Liam Lawson and Ayumu Iwasa stand out as obvious candidates at the moment, Iwasa especially if Honda want to keep a Japanese presence on the grid for next year. For me, if they finish in the top 3 of their respective categories in 2023, I'd be shocked if they don't find themselves in the race seat come 2024. Returning to Pinky and Perky over here, we've got to factor in new team principal Laurent Mekies as well. He may well choose to start with a fresh slate from a driver's perspective next year, provided de Vries can find his way out of the Faenza car park. Both drivers really need to up their game for the rest of the season, but I'll be honest, even if they do, the writing may well already be on the wall for them. At least de Vries can see that writing every time he loses the rear end of his car. Next up on my list is a driver I covered in a video just a few weeks ago, Alfa Romeo's Valtteri Bottas. This may well come as a surprise to some, given his long-term contract with the Sauber team, but when I made that video after Australia, he hadn't had the best of starts to his 2023 campaign. And Azerbaijan didn't go much better. Zhou seems to be establishing himself as the top man in that outfit now. He'll be in his 3rd season of F1 in 2024, meaning the experience Bottas brings to the table will become more and more obsolete with every Grand Prix weekend that goes by. It's no secret as well that Sauber want to get their junior star Théo Pourchaire into a race seat. Only problem is he seems to like crashing into people. At this point, Bottas' replacement, I feel, is more likely to be someone like Mick Schumacher. With Audi taking over the team from 2026, a German driver and a big name in the books would be an exciting prospect, even with the potential crash damage. I know Valtteri wants to wait it out till that Audi takeover, but given his current form, I can't see that being the case. It's a shame because I like the guy, but I wouldn't be shocked to see his name on the chopping block come the end of the year. Let's stick with the midfield a little longer then and talk about a driver who's under pressure, though I don't quite get why. Haas and Kevin Magnussen celebrated the meteoric return to form in 2022, but early into this season, there have already been reports over the Dane needing to fight to retain his seat. The arrival of Nico Hülkenberg was sure to throw a cat amongst the pigeons, or a ball into the mouth if you catch my drift. That being said, the two seem to have been fairly evenly matched this year, Hülkenberg also joining in when it comes to pissing off Sir Lewis Hamilton. Yet despite the good form, it seems the pressure has been put on K-Mag a little bit, and again I don't quite get why on this one. There aren't many drivers on the grid who I see as a potential candidate for Haas right now. They won't take a rookie, for obvious reasons, and I don't see Danny Rick going there after telling them where to shove it in 2022. It's also important to note that these reports all came before Miami, and if K-Mag can still bring home quality performances like that, I honestly don't think you'll have much to worry about. Maybe just forget I said anything on this one. There are two more drivers I'd like to cover, starting off with Williams' Logan Sargeant. I'll be honest, I was excited when this guy was announced last year, but things have kind of waned as time has gone on. In my defense, I did mention that Logan's big issue was going to be handling the pressure. It sure seemed like every time the spotlight was on him in Formula 2, his car became a magnet for the tyre barrier. I do worry we're starting to see this in Formula 1 now as well, and if it continues, well, Williams have quite the lineup in its junior formulas just waiting for that F1 opportunity. I'm not counting Logan out just yet, but he's got to start making inroads towards Alex Albon, and not making indents into the wall. Okay, not my best joke, let's just move on. You see, there's one more driver I'd like to discuss to conclude this list, and let me preface this by saying I don't think his seat is necessarily under threat, in fact far from it. It's more his reputation and credibility putting him under pressure in 2023. Let's talk about Charles Leclerc. When this guy came into F1 in 2018, he was touted as a future world champion. He had just dominated the first season of Formula 2, and in fairness, he lived up to those expectations early on. Leclerc's first season at Sauber was phenomenal, and quickly saw him promoted to the Scuderia for 2019. He was so good there, the prancing horses took one look at their old mascot, Sebastian Vettel, proceeded to castrate him and throw him out to the strolls. Charles continued to go from strength to strength, proving himself as an adept qualifier, though he never really had the car that could seriously take him to a world championship. Then 2022 rolled around, and Ferrari finally got their act together. Until they didn't. Yes, a lot of those lost points can be attributed to Super Mario and his Mushroom Kingdom, but Leclerc didn't help matters much as well. Despite new leadership, those issues have continued into 2023. Leclerc just keeps making mistakes, and while we might have let him off the hook a few years ago, this is his 6th year in the sport, and it's just not good enough. Now, as I said, I don't think Leclerc poses any risk of losing his Ferrari seat. Supposedly, Mercedes might even sign him when #Bless calls it a day. But right now, I feel with every accident he loses more and more of that credibility in this sport, and if he wants to be considered championship material again, things need to change. Anyway, those are the 6 drivers I think are most under threat at this stage in the year. Think I missed someone, or that I'm just an idiot? Then let me know down in the comments below. And while you're there, be sure to check out Isle of Man TT Ride on the Edge 3 in the description. A huge thank you to them for sponsoring this video, and thanks also to all my patrons and channel members. If you want to help support me in the channel, all the links you need are down in the description as well. Now I'll be seeing you soon with another video, but until then, have a good one.